Hi everybody, today I'm going to be finishing up my video series on the M&P22 pistol. I've fired 2,000 rounds of this gun now, and I feel like I've had it long enough to give you more of an in-depth review of all the things that are going on here. First of all, let me say reliability is excellent. I always shoot these Federal bulk packs, either 550 bulk pack in the red or 525 bulk pack in the blue box, and CCI mini mags, either 40 grain solids or the 32 grain hollow points as shown here. So I haven't had any issues with that. The gun runs fine, haven't had any jams or anything. One thing you can do that causes a stoppage is when you load bullets in here, the front of the bullet's not supported, only the back of the rim is held on by the feed lips. And I have not run into this, but a friend of mine has. If you take this magazine and you just slam it in there real hard, you can cause the top round to flip up, and that'll cause a jam. The slide won't be able to close. You'll have to clear that out. I have not run into that because I usually just put it in there gently, and I've not run into that issue, but that's something you should watch for. Accuracy. First, let me say I'm not any sort of super expert target shooter, so I'm going to show you these targets, but don't read too much into them. This was taken at an indoor range. It's probably 7 yards, I think. You can see I've got all over the place there. A couple rounds close together there. I didn't adjust the sights or anything. I was just shooting at the center of the target. So I need to adjust my sights up a little bit, but this kind of matches the point of impact the way that my M&P9 is. Good grouping there, so don't read too much into that. It's not the gun, it's me for sure. It's more accurate than I am. I can hit the steel plates as long as I have the sight alignment correct. You saw me in the steel shooting video where I had the steel dueling tree. Just got to practice proper trigger control, and it's great for that. So it's not the gun, it's me. Okay, leading and keyholing. I want to talk about that because a lot of people online have been showing, some people have been talking about some pictures where there's actually lead sticking out of the pieces of stray lead coming out of the barrel here, and they've got a lot of crud inside. I have, like I said, been shooting these Federal and the CCI mini mags. I once shot 1,500 rounds without cleaning, no issues there. I shot another 500 rounds before this video, and you can see it's got the residue in there from the 22s, but there's no leading in the barrel. It's still pretty clean inside there. I've not been having a leading issue like that person online has been talking about. And I think it's ammo dependent. That's why I always shoot these copper plated bullets. If they shoot lead or wax coated lead, I've seen that before in my other guns where they'll build up a lead residue. So I'm going to call that ammo related. I have not seen the issue. Trigger pull, not bad, could be better. Like I said in my part 1 video, it does have a take up and then it comes to a clean break. You just have to use a little bit of force to make that break. It takes more force than the break on the M&P 9mm Pro, which I have. It's not going to be as clean as something like a Ruger 2245 that has any sort of action work done to it. So that's not what it is. It's not a precision lightweight trigger. It's good. It is what it is. I don't have to have a super light trigger on my gun. I think it's fine. Adjustable sights. The important thing here is there is a set screw at the top. You can change this. That raises or lowers this little U-notch, and that can be used to change your point of aim up or down to match the point of impact on your centerfire pistol. So that's good because on your centerfire, when you shoot different weights, like for 9mm, if I shoot 115 grain or 124 grain or 147 grain, the point of impact is either going to be higher or lower than what the front sight usually is. And you can adjust the elevation of the rear sight here with this set screw to make the point of impact match the point of impact on your centerfire. Also, you have windage adjustable left and right. With this set screw, you can slide it back and forth in the dovetail. I have not had to slide it back and forth for windage, but I have adjusted the elevation a little bit. Works pretty good. Grip size, small, medium, or large backstrap size. I have measured these with the caliper. I changed out the different grip sizes and I measured this dimension. I also measured the width dimension with the small, medium, and large interchangeable backstraps on the 9mm, and I can tell you, measuring the built-in molded grip here, that this is somewhere between a small and a medium. It is, some dimensions are smaller than the medium, and some of the dimensions are larger than a small size backstrap, so it's in between a small and a medium. Definitely not a large. If you require a large, maybe you can wrap it up in some tape or put something over it. Talking about the barrel nut wrench, there is this wrench that comes with the box, inside the box, and what it is for is to match these front lugs on this front of the barrel bushing. What you do is when you field strip this, there'll be an action locking block in here, or the actual frame inside here with the barrel attaches to. And by taking off this front bushing, you can remove the barrel from that block. I have never done that as long as I've owned the firearm. It's not required for cleaning as far as I can tell. I had a friend that had a Walther P22. He confirmed that you take this off just like you take off a P22, and it takes the same threads and accessories. So if you have some accessories for a Walther P22, you can put them on here just the same. Okay, the magazine disconnect and thumb safety. As far as I can tell, all of these M&P22s are going to have magazine disconnect and thumb safety, and I think that is an importation requirement. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's just the way it's going to be. So the magazine disconnect is, like all magazine disconnects, you have to have the magazine in to fire or dry fire. Without the magazine, the trigger is dead. However, unlike some others I've seen, like the Ruger 2245, the magazine disconnect is done right on this gun. It doesn't interfere with the magazine dropping free. So when it's empty, the slide locks back. Magazine drops free every time. It's not a problem. So given that, it's okay that it doesn't interfere with the magazine dropping free. The thumb safety, it's pretty cheesy. It's this soft plastic, almost rubbery type material, and you can actually bend the arm out. It is cheesy. It takes a little bit of force to activate. It doesn't have a clean click. On my M&P 9mm, I do not have the thumb safety. So on the 22, I leave it off safe, and I've pretty much never fooled with it. Okay, moving right along, what it is and what it isn't. It is a good 22 trader. I think it has good potential, especially for me. I've got a lot of technique issues I'm working on, trying to get my two-handed grip, shooting with both eyes open, doing weak hand only, strong hand only shooting. A lot of that stuff I can do with the 22 and practice my technique. The only problem is there's no extra magazines at this time, so if I want to set up like a practice stage for IPSC or IDPA or USPSA, I can't practice a magazine change. Also can't use it for Steel Challenge until I can get some extra magazines to shoot the strings of fire for Steel Challenge. So that'll hopefully be resolved in time. That's an early adopter kind of problem, and as production ramps up and you watch this video maybe several months later, check online, you'll probably be able to get magazines if you're watching this video later. But for the here and now, September 2011, magazines on back order. I called a month ago, they're still on back order, can't get them. Is this a good first choice for a 22 pistol? I think it is if you like the look and feel of the M&P, especially maybe if you have a center fire and you want to have a 22 to go with it, or 22 for family members. I think it's a great choice. It kind of gives you this progression from 22 to the center fire. If you didn't have that and you were just looking at this gun on its own, is this the right 22 pistol for a first time? That's going to depend on the look and feel, and if you like the ease of operation. Now, I'm going to say the ease of operation on this is better than the 2245. The 2245 has a problem where if the hammer falls on a dead chamber, it's very hard to grip these bolt ears and pull the bolt open. It takes a lot of force to do, and a child or maybe a female family member is not going to be able to do that. It's a deal breaker when I go out to the range that if there's a jam, I have to run over and help clear it. That's a problem. On the 22, M&P22, you do not have that problem. You've got this entire slide assembly which you can grab. If the hammer falls in a dead chamber, you can grab these serrations here just like on the M&P9 and pull that thing open without having to worry about grabbing hold of these small bolt ears. So given the ease of operation, I like it for that. Talk more about the price later on. The other thing it is a fun and fast 22 plinker. It's got a 12-round magazine, which not many other 22s have that. Most of the others only have 10 rounds. So given that, it keeps the action going if you can get extra magazines, which in a few months, hopefully that'll be resolved. Okay, what it is not, some of the drawbacks I've seen, it is not an exact fit on all holsters. So for something like the M&P9 to go into, this Phobos paddle holster, 9mm goes in there just fine, the 22 goes in there just fine, not a problem. But some of the other well-formed Kydex holsters that hold a tight fit may have problems with this. There's some dimensions that are just a little bit off. I think that's pretty cheesy. Smith & Wesson went through the trouble of having Walther make the gun for them to have the same look and feel as the 940. Why didn't they make it exactly the same? I don't know what's going on there, but that's kind of a problem. You may have to do some adjustment or some finagling to get it to fit into some of the holsters. Regular paddle holster is just fine. It is not the cheapest 22 pistol. It's about $415 to have it delivered and transferred into your hands at this time from what I've seen. If you can find it in stock, it's still having trouble finding it in stock. So it's higher than other 22 pistols. Price might reduce in the future. But you got to think about this. Buy what really works for you, not necessarily what's the cheapest. So if you like the ease of operation and the way this thing operates compared to the 9, or similar to the 9, then definitely get this. It's going to be a lot easier for you. Don't buy something just because it's the cheapest. You know, if you like this style instead, go for that. So what can I tell you? Don't just cheap out on price, because that's not going to linger. What's really going to be left with is, do you like the gun? It is not a precision bullseye match gun. That's not what this is about. This is really meant to be a 22 companion to the M&P 940 and also 45. But it is not something like a long-barreled target gun, and it doesn't have a lot of aftermarket support for go-fast parts. People change the uppers and do all sorts of other fancy accurizing work to it. That's not what it's about at this time. Maybe there will be support for that later, but the barrel length is only a 4-inch barrel like the M&P 9 4¼ inch, so you're not going to see a long barrel version as far as I can tell. That's not what it's for. It is not... I'm surprised I even have to answer this. It is not a duty weapon, not a home defense or CCW weapon. It's just a 22. I'm only saying this because I got some couple comments came in, which I rejected, about saying the 22 stopping power. Oh, that's not going to stop a band of angry, drunk grizzly bears that are going to attack me in the woods. Well, that's not what it's for. It's a 22, okay? So don't try to make it into something it's not. In conclusion, it's not perfect, but I really like it, especially because I like the look and feel of the M&P 940 centerfire versions. This gives me a 22 companion to it. The ease of operation is easier to operate than the Ruger, and if I had extra magazines for this, I'd be using this in competition instead of the Ruger. So given that, I think it's pretty good. Hopefully the price will come down for those of you who buy in the future, but I'm happy with my purchase so far.